What's up, y'all? Quincy, design manager, principal designer, design director, and we are on a 30-day redesign journey. We are on day 19 we're on. Holy smokes, we're making our way through. It is an absolutely enlightening experience. People reaching out, companies reaching out. I am very blessed to go through this. But anyway, so today, if you don't know, I was laid off from my company in November, Wall Street Journal, and I haven't been able to find work ever since. I figured, let me do something different. So we're going to redesign for 30 straight days a company's website, social media cards, marketing collateral, logos, anything I can find in the company. And we are going to do it for a company who has rejected my application. So essentially, someone who said, Quince, we don't want you to work for us. No problem. I'm going to redesign something of yours. So today we're taking it to Latham and Watkins law firm. I redesigned their logo and added a mark to it yesterday. And today we are going to take the same assets we created yesterday and put it on their website. I'm going to redesign the front page of the website. So let's make it happen. Let's go. All right. So we are on the front page of their website at this present moment. And I mean, it looks nice. It's clean. I have a lot of imagery using very light font, essentially, as far as like H1s are concerned, or titles, if you want to call it, even with some of the flash lines up here. So this is a carousel. It's nice. I have nothing wrong with the carousel. And then down here, we have another card, essentially right below the hero. And, you're just scrolling, from one to the next, essentially. One to the next. The text fades in. It's beautiful. It's nice. And then down here, we have so essentially one carousel, two carousels, three carousels on top of each other. And this one is just some of their reviews or achievements, essentially. And then down here, right below is our stories on the left. Not too sure of the vertical positioning of that. And then you have, now this experience is a little janky. You have extraordinary network, and I wasn't too sure exactly where to click around, right? Because I get here, I see My Latham Summer, supporting Green Era, My Latham Journey. So you have these experiences, and I'm thinking I might be able to click on the text, but you can't. The text is unclickable. So what do I click on? So I see these arrows here, but these arrows don't necessarily indicate that I can scroll, up and down, essentially this card, whatever might have you. But if you click up, and it goes. So this experience I want to change. It doesn't need to be hidden like this. And I want it to be a little bit more, you stand out. So you see the text, Extraordinary Network, My Latham Summer. You immediately want to click on it because there's something behind it. Featured insights, this is fine. This is, I have no qualms with this at all. Read more, of course, there's going to be more featured insights, and then the footer. So footer, no problem. We're not going to touch the footer at all. I'm actually just going to replace that mark down there. I'm going to replace this logo, essentially. So just so you know, as we get into the file, I did the project kind of backwards. I started with designing their website, as you'll see, because the logo doesn't change. But then all of a sudden, I said, you know what? Let me change their logo. So I began to change their logo, which was yesterday. I changed the logo, and I'm going to implement it. But it doesn't I don't implement it until I would say a quarter of the way through the video. So you'll see everything. So I'm going to change, carousel after carousel after carousel into more static imagery, essentially. So this, it'll remain a carousel top. This below here, no carousel. This down here, no, we're going to bring all these out, essentially. And this is what we're going to change to. So, it's not necessarily a bad design, but there's so much more you can do to give the user, to allow the user to navigate your website pretty easily. And one other thing I want to show you is they have a hamburger menu here. Why is there a hamburger menu on desktop? Why? And, it moves the logo over, essentially. Do we really want to do that? No, we don't. Because essentially you click on the hamburger menu and it brings out pretty much the same things that are hidden in here. I mean, there's a few things that are different. We could probably just, make a drop down essentially of these. So, but we'll talk about it. We'll go through it. So anyway, let's get after it. Let's take it to Figma. All right, so now we're in Figma. Gonna bring in my reference image, group everything together. So I know what I'm building, essentially. Need a reference image. Gonna get their logo from their website. It's a SVG file. So just trying to grab it. Wouldn't necessarily grab right away, but eventually I got it. Took a second. All right, so now I have their logo. Gonna put my grid in, 12 column grid, 30 pixels inside. I'm gonna line up that logo, trying to figure out where I want it. I was originally thinking I want it in the middle. Want to make it a different experience for them. So we're gonna take it to the middle. I'm gonna bring in this hero I created for Nationwide, and the navigation, something I just bring it over, but I want it to be centered along with their logo too. So just setting up a few different buttons, gonna copy them out, auto layer everything, share everything together, making all of their links essentially what they already have on their website. Easy peasy stuff. So just getting navigation right, getting it centered, gonna auto layout everything. Now I want to get this icon that they have, which is just changing the language on their website from English to French to Chinese to German, et cetera, et cetera. So just grabbing this essential SVG file, which I couldn't grab right away. So just going to wind up taking a screenshot of it. I don't know why it's so difficult to grab it. Sometimes I was trying to make it larger, but just trying to get the file, but wouldn't grab right away. So just took an image of it, screenshot of it, gonna bring it in, and we're just gonna put it in right next to the search. So we're essentially separating the search and the language. I'm gonna put it on the right side, essentially, auto layer everything, put everything together. And now I wanna get this work on this hero. I'm just grabbing these 3 images of their hero, grabbing the copy also. So essentially, this is that hero that I'm getting it. Looks like some, I don't even know how you call it essentially, but greenhouse. Gonna get my copy. Gonna make an H1 flash line and descriptor copy. So gonna make it white essentially, but I was trying to put it in this colored background, essentially black, going to, bring down the tint, but essentially I made a tint over the entire image, which is going to work, but it's too dark at this present moment. Trying to line things up from left to right and not going down. But essentially I'm going to decide against it, and I'm going to let it run down the page, much like they have it on their website. Now, if you look at that background, it's just too dark at this present moment in time. So I'm creating a CTA. I want the CTA to look like, a button essentially, because right now they don't have a CTA that looks like a button. They just have read more as text. So I want it to look like a button. So now I'm making a gradient of that background. So it's not just completely tinted out. So just the portion is tinted, as you're going to see. Now, if you ever work with images in Figma, they created tools that just makes it easy, essentially. So I'm now just flip that image, the gradient essentially, the image, put in that text to run from top to bottom. And I like the layout. I'm just trying to work with the opacity, make sure it's readable. It's got to be accessible. Anything that we create has to be accessible. If it's not going to be accessible, then the company's going to get dinged. So now it's just reading from, vertically, but I wanted to read horizontally, working out the spacing, make sure everything lines up, everything's 30 pixels on the left side for the margins. I think it's cool. I think this is nice, but I want something better. And this is what I landed on, essentially. Now I'm going to tackle the middle portion. Now we're taking this carousel out. We don't want a carousel. We don't need a carousel. And now I'm going to replace that logo. The logo I worked on the prior day. It's just a very, I don't want to say cleaner. It's just got a little bit more edge to it. They're a New York company, Gotham. So just got a little bit more edge. And that logo mark just represents them perfectly. So now I'm going to work on this middle portion, but I realized I need some ellipses on the right-hand side to let people know that this is a carousel. So if they do click one, click on one of the dots, it will literally scroll from bottom to the top, essentially, or from left to right. But I'm figuring from bottom to top, I think that's a great experience. So that one ellipse that's red, that's the one that you're currently on. So now my CTA is blue. So I changed that CTA from an outline white to blue. Now I want to grab these images in here. Just inspected the page, found these images, gonna copy them over, just drag them out, save them in the file that I created. And now I'm going to begin. And I want this space to look different. I want it to be a little bit more edgy. I want their website to, to use some of the current aesthetics, the current functionality that we can with the web now. So I want there's the image to be in the background, and then there'd be a block of text, which represent the headline right on top of it, but it peeks out to the right, essentially. And the copy would just run exactly how the copy should run in that block that we're creating. So just working out if this should be a black background, should all the assets be in the background? Let me make that image a little taller. This is just trial and error, working things out, how I really want things laid out. Copy them out, move them over, see if this is the space that I'm looking for, but I'm realizing that this image is just too wide. And I really want to bring out the flash line, which is article, in the read more button, essentially. Just moving things over, adjusting it. Gonna put in the actual flash line. I made the flash line just a little smaller. Now I have these three lined up together, group them, and I settled on everything together. Now I'm just going to replace the copy. Just working with the copy, making sure that it's going to span and just look good, have a heavy weight to it, so it's easily read. That's what we want. We want things to be easily read, easily scanned, so everyone knows exactly what they're looking at. Complete victory, litigators of the week. Complete victory. So everything's got to be the same style, the same token, and that's what we're just working out at its present moment in time. And I think it looks good. Now we're going to replace that last image. These images aren't stretched out at all. They're the images that came exactly from the website. Working out spacing, put 10 more pixels on top of those CTAs. Now I want these flash lines to stand out more. So when you're scanning the page, oh, wow, this is different. You know, it doesn't look like the one that's above, that's just in white, which says article. These are just different. So this yellow just makes it pop a little bit more. Replace that image. And this is exactly how I want it laid out. It's just, it reduces the space, but it gives it a little bit more complexity. It gives it a little bit more visual hierarchy, what you're looking at. So when the user comes in, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. You know, just creating a wow effect, essentially. I'm seeing if I want the background to be white. No, try to work with it. Set the opacity. No, we're going to keep it black, essentially. Made the CTA typeface just 2 points lower. So now for this space below here, I'm taking it out of that carousel and I'm going to put it really just on the page static. So you'll be able to read it nice and set. So we created another card essentially, which is achievements. And it's as you're going to see us go down the page, it's going to go from achievements to another card to another card, but it follows the same pattern all the way down the page. Now we took all that copy out of those carousels and we're just putting it right here. So we're creating a separation, an understandable separation between our carousels, our main carousel, the next card, which is literally in that first hero, and then underneath that, achievements. Brilliant. This is great. I like it. Just working out the space, grabbing all the copy. Now they have quite a few of these reviews in there, and reviews, awards, whatever you want to call them. Now I want that top portion to literally be who it's coming from, that middle portion, if it has a title, and then of course the main description. Now I was thinking about maybe let me put another row in here. Essentially they had 6, but I realized one of their 6 came back from 2021, which is about 4 years ago. So we're gonna take these 2 out. You know, maybe they want all 6 to be there, but this is what we're doing. So we're just gonna leave 4 in there, and that's it. So I'm just going through it, seeing how it looks. Turn the separator. The separator is gray. Nah. See, I'm just deciding. And then I get into this. I don't even know what you call this. Just a different experience. You know, you got to work with things, understand things. So as you see, now we have a pattern. We have achievements and that way. And then now we're going to put our stories. Now, it took me a little bit of time to really work out this space, to have this image work with the background. I mean, work with the whole page, essentially. Because I wanted to make this image still span the page, you know, 30 pixels on both sides as far as margin to make sure everything lines up to our grid. So now, just working out the space. I don't want to stretch that image at all, so I adjusted it. All right, so we're at the top. Just working the top out, make sure it's lined up. Everything is auto layouted. Everything just following a pattern. I'm just not moving things around pixel by pixel. That's just not what we're doing. All right, so as I'm working out the space, there's links for each and every one of these cards or slideshow or carousel. So I'll put the links that we create at the top, put a black background, figuring it's just easy enough just to put the links right at the top of the image. Let it span that whole image essentially. Throw on text in, make sure it is perfect. I should just copy it and paste it instead of retyping it, but it is what it is. We did it. So now it's spanning that entire image. I want to make sure it looks like a link. You know, you are on an extraordinary network, working out the space, but just working with the image, see if that looks good or not. But we're kind of breaking the pattern that we already set to the top, because you have your achievements and then you have our stories, both with an underline. So let's try a different treatment. And this is just trial and error. How do we want it to look? How would we want it to be? Making sure I'm putting another separator underneath, but now you have two separators. So I delete the one on top. Maybe we should put our stories right next to it, put separator below. I mean, that's not bad, but is that really what we want to do? Is that how we want it to look? You know, now it's spanning all the way to the right. I'm looking at it. I'm going to grab the copy because there's copy that should be on this image. I'm going to take this image out, bring it over, take it out of the auto layout, bring it over, work out the space, get that title in. I'm going to bring that style from the top, that hero H1, put a background in, make sure it's readable. Starting to take shape. The space is starting to take shape. I'm starting to really like it. All right, so I put it underneath. Those links underneath. Not yet, not yet. So we're just still working out. Maybe it should be in a gray. No, don't like it. Let's take it out. And then I'm thinking it should be over the image. That's where it should be. So the links are literally going to be over the image with blocked out the color, which is going to be black, of course. And I want everyone to know what they are on. So we need to make that link a different color. I'm going to adjust this image to make sure everyone is seeable. There's a guy in the middle that's not. We could always adjust it in Photoshop to create, more space at the top. So, but we're not going to do that today. But now it's starting to take shape. Now I want to put a little bit more space underneath Extraordinary Network. Still have it in there. What if we take it out? Now there we go. I like it. All right, so now the last section, featured insights, and this is a pretty cut and dry section. I want to make it look like what it is on top, those images with the copy. So we're literally going to we're going to take screenshots of these images here. I could have just went into the inspector and just found them and just downloaded them, but really want to save myself a little bit of time. I just spent about 4 hours doing this. So now putting that image in. Is this what we want? No, but I figured out we try anyway. That's what we want. Getting the copy. Figma and links. I love that. Don't enjoy it. I'm not sure who enjoys Figma and links. If you do, shout me out. All right, so now we're bringing that one from the top. I want to adjust the space because I want this image to be smaller. I want the title to be within the image and everything else just falls below it. Much like that. Working out space, is that what we want? Do we want it in white? Nah, not necessarily. Let's just keep it in black. I mean, it's nice, but it's not what we want. Not what we should be going for. Yep, there we go. Turn it back to black, adjust the space, bring that image up. So it's the same pattern that we created at the top. We're just duplicating it down here. Changing that image. And I like it. It's working for the space. Want to make sure it's readable. Brought text out a little bit. All right, so now we're duplicating it. I'm going to bring it over to those last sections. Here we go. Got the titles for those sections, changing those lines, January to active to whatever it is on their website currently. And we're good, man. You know, we are good. Now I want to bring over their logo mark and I want to put it within our stories. I think that'll be pretty neat. You know, so it's literally, you know, Mark, then our stories. So Latham and Watkins, our stories. I think that's pretty awesome. You know, that mark that we created. It could go on anything, you know, coffee mugs, anything. So we're going to bring in their footer, but we're going to replace that logo mark down there to what they had, what I created. So much more neat, nice, awesome. Gonna get that. There's a little white in there within that footer. That's when we took a screenshot. So we're just adjusting that. Put a little more gray to the right, and there we go. Footer's done. Everything is done. It looks good. You know, I think I'm satisfied with this. And let me show it to you.